your worst nightmare!
Ooh, scary. No! No! That's impossible!
But trust me, there's a lot more to Jetpack Cat than just flying, meowing, and always being banned. Jetpack Cat completely breaks Overwatch as some of the most important rules, guidelines, and heuristics players should follow, so players aren't eliminated every 5 seconds, are as easy as breathing when playing the frenetic feline. Whilst other heroes fight tooth and nail for high ground, to avoid being shot, to keep distance, or to get in close when required, Finka can do all those things with 2 button presses. She technically doesn't break the rules as they still apply to her, but the rules are much simpler and are a passive for and require minimal cognitive labor on the player's part on where to be and how to escape when things go south. If others need a 10-step plan on how to get in and get out, the cat can just swoop in, knock something over from your desk, and swoops out before you had time to check to see if you're allergic to cats. First things first, positioning is everything in Overwatch. In fact, it's not just Overwatch, every first-person shooter ever requires good positioning. Good positioning and making space massively help you win fights. Positioning determines survivability, sightlines, healing, uptime damage, and escape options. This usually means taking the high ground, being close to cover, being next to a barrier, not standing in open space, not being next to a ledge for too long, and having an escape route when things turn sour. In an earlier video I made about Sojourn and why she's overpowered, link in the description. If you're more than a couple seconds away from cover, you're usually out of position, but faster heroes can be further away from cover for longer as they can get back to cover in the nick of time. And this is where Cat shines, as whilst other heroes take a small eternity, Cat can simply fly to one. She spends less time moving into position and more time benefiting from it. Positioning mistakes are easy to correct because she can relocate quickly. She also has ubiquitous escape options compared to even the fastest of heroes. Other heroes are often limited and prohibited by map's geometry and layout. So even if they have fast feet, walls and buildings can still kill your momentum. If you're playing Wrecking Ball, there will be some random ass clutter or god forbid, furniture that will stop your roll through and make you eating pickings for the enemy. But Cat has complete control of the X and Y axis, so annoying walls that ruin your day is something the feline can just fly over.
Okay guys, I'm engaging alone. Wish me luck on my lone engagement. Oh, hey Steppenwolf.
A good cat can be incredibly invasive as the map's geometry is more of a mild inconvenience. One trick to help retreat and escape is to use rooftops as cover as the enemy can't shoot through it, so you're perfectly safe unless Junkrat gets the luckiest of grenades. The rest of the roster studies positioning guides. Cat just ignores gravity. Her positioning is deadly as she can fly, she can approach from unusual angles, and she can disengage vertically and horizontally. She can circumvent choke points and other areas of the map where she can be shot easily. Heroes do struggle with airborne targets as they have to constantly adjust their elevation and windage. What makes it even better for Finka is that she can move much faster in the X and Y axis compared to other airborne heroes such as Pharah and Echo, making her movement even more erratic. A good Jetpack Cat makes your crosshairs go everywhere. This also ties into a smaller point as to why she feels so powerful, her small hitbox. Smaller hitboxes are harder to hit, so compound that with her speed and complete access control and she can be hard to put your crosses on. All the reasons compound make the amount of times you can die as Cat relatively low, and they say cats only have 9 lives. Now, I just explained why Jetpack Cat being able to fly and being able to move on the X and Y axis makes her hard to hit, but I also got to talk about how she is the complete bane to tanks. For the big boys and girls of the roster, Cat can completely bypass the space they create. Many tanks are grounded, so they lack the range to do any damage to the feline, which often leads to them ignoring the cat, which does go against one of the rules of Overwatch and most hero shooters. Go after the support first. Reinhardt practically can't touch her, except with a lucky fire strike. Junker Queen struggles to pressure aerial target. Roadhog could threaten her with his hook, but must actually land it, and Zarya often lacks the reach. She can stay outside many tanks' effective ranges, and she can ignore most frontline pressure. But most importantly, she can heal teammates while remaining difficult for tanks to contest. The issue with healing for some healers like Mercy, Kiriko, and Lucio is that they need to be relatively close to their target, but that only means they are only closer to the tank and their firing range. Cat can offer good sustained healing, but from a long way away, meaning if your teammate does die, she is often far enough to escape. Tanks are all about making space, but thanks to Finka's evasive nature, this is her response.
In the cock! Ha! Right in the nads! Look at that!
And that adds to the reason as to why she is so hated. It's not just that Finka is slippery. It's not just that she's an airborne target, it's not just that she has an incredibly small hitbox, but it's all of the reasons above that compound that make her incredibly difficult to pin down. Players know what they should do, but actually doing it is harder. She can escape situations other heroes couldn't, and she makes players feel like their shots don't matter. Another thing I realized why Finka is loathed, despite being such a cute little guy, I mean look at that face, is that gun aim to eliminate her is unintuitive as she forces heroes to aim vertically. Since most heroes are grounded, your aim is moving horizontally as to adjust for the enemy sidestepping. Even if your shots don't land on your intended target, you might get lucky and it might land on someone else. Since Finka moves up and down, you're not used to that kind of motion, making you miss your shots more often, which leads to her being more hated as players aren't used to airborne target aim. All the reasons compound to make it so that being out of position isn't as punishing for Cat, as she's hard to pin down, hard to track movement, and has more escape options than the Titanic had lifeboats. And yeah, that makes her particularly loathed. However, despite having so many tools to be light years away, AoE heal and especially her level 2 perks do encourage you to get closer to heal and damage. Per is an AoE heal that increases in frequency over time, meaning you're encouraged to keep your feet or paws low to the ground. Also, there is knockback on activation, meaning you may want to use Per as to generate distance between your team and the enemy. In addition, her level 2 perks make you want to get in closer to the enemy. Claws out as a melee that slows the enemy down for 1 second, whereas Headbutt causes enemies to receive knockback when you fly into them, and each knockback generates 25% fuel. However, the main similarity is that both perks want you to get closer to the enemy, which does run counter to what you're supposed to do with Cat. And that is where the skill ceiling comes in with Cat, as anyone can fly, but knowing where and when to fly is another story. Good Cat players know angles, rooftops, escape routes, sightlines. As said before, a good Cat can use rooftops as cover and will often heal near a piece of cover, just in case they are caught open with their enemy hero that deals with airborne targets well, like Cassidy. And again, a good Cat is good at taking calculated risks to maximize health and damage. A closer Cat can hurt and heal more, but is also close to all the crazy theatrics that happen on the ground. Ultimately, it's a balancing act. Good Cat players know when to keep distance and damage with projectiles, and when to get in close to use Per and major perks. It helps Cat from becoming stale and is always being a game of keep away. And I dare say that's the win condition with Cat, knowing when to keep distance and when to get in close as to maximize your abilities. Jetpack Cat's main advantage isn't the heals, the damage, or the maneuverability, it's options. Cat always seems to have a way out of situations that will eliminate other heroes. There's always a bit of cover, a rooftop, an angle, an escape plan, and another position she can use, so she can survive and live to fight another day. Or in this case, meow and purr until your ears bleed. This is Zach, not Zach, signing off. Please remember to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe.